Gallery and Framing. We are here on this wonderful day, beautiful, nice and sunny and not too cold, with Miss Wanda Coffey. Thank you, Wanda, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
We are so excited to get to know about her and her life and what she does, because look how wonderful these pieces are, and we're going to get to know some details about some of her pieces. So we're just going to go on and get started. So Wanda, you tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born and raised in Michigan, just north of Detroit, and in my senior year my parents moved to Southern California, and it was there that I met my husband. He was a rancher, his parents were, and I couldn't understand him for about 6 months after we got married, because I'm a Yankee and he's a Texan.
Oh!
And it was
How
tough. It was hilarious, but so then I have 3 children, grown children now, and my husband has passed away about 12 years ago. And I don't know what else you want to know for right now.
Okay. Well, can you tell me how you got into painting?
Well, I've always drawn ever since I was a kid. Had pneumonia one time in bed for a month. That's when all they gave you was Vicks Vapor Rub.
Oh, goodness.
And, my mother gave me a roll of that real cheap toilet paper and a soft pencil, and I drew on every square of that, and I was about 9 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
So that might have been the start of my art career, but I don't know. I just sort of took baby steps into it. I had painted some paintings with tempera paints, because I didn't know the difference. All I had ever used was those little cheap Prang watercolor sets with a little cheap brush in them.
Okay.
That you got in the dime store, that we call dollar store now, I think. And that's all I knew. But I actually, we were on a job in Gallup, New Mexico, and I saw Malarkey's photo and art supply studio. And curiosity got me. I went in there and I was blown away. Here were tubes and jars of paints with names on them. I always thought red was red and green was green and so on. And so I had a big learning curve to climb. And I decided I would go to the library in Gallup, and I read about every art book that they had in there, educating myself on names of paints and what brushes were. All the different brushes were confusing to me, and paper and canvases and all of that, and how to gesso a canvas. So you can learn a whole lot from art books. And so I went back to Malarkey's and I bought me a beginning start of oils and watercolor paints and brushes. And while there, I met Jimmy Abeta. He was very famous then,
wow.
And still is.
Yes.
Yeah, and his wife, and I think she was later, I believe, in an car accident, and I think was deceased. But anyway, and I saw his work there at Malarkey's, and I had no clue that art sold for so much money. That bombed my brain. So later, when we moved to Farmington, or came back to Farmington, I had painted some things, and a friend of mine said, let's take it down to the Four Corners art show. They're having an art show, see if they'll hang your work. And I said, well, you can take it in, I'll wait in the car. And she did, and she came back out and said, they're hanging your work. Said they, yeah, and I wasn't even a member. And they had an auction on the last day, and several people said, we want Wanda Coffey. We want to vote, bid on hers. And I left there with a migraine headache and $100 in my pocket.
Oh, my goodness.
I was so excited.
Yes.
And so it kind of pushed me off in my art career.
That is wonderful, especially, to know that you've met Jim Abeta and was able to see his artwork there, and how you even got started. Do you have any of that toilet paper left?
No.
I think that is absolutely wonderful. Everybody, I mean, if you can draw softly on a piece of toilet paper, I think you really you really have it. That is really
Well,
awesome to know.
Maybe that's where most of my work should have been on. I don't know.
Oh no, definitely not.
At least in the beginning, I had quite a time, and I still do. I don't think any artist ever thinks they've actually arrived.
Right.
You know.
And hitting those learning curves too. I hear a lot of, and nowadays everybody does everything. So I know hitting those learning curves and trying to go above and beyond what you already do, I know is a hard thing to do. But you know, getting there and accomplishing that, which is really amazing to do.
Yeah. I eventually went on and I took art magazines and I subscribed to those, and then I saw in the back they have all these shows listed all over the United States and the world, actually, and some of them, and I was accepted and became a member of Women Artists of the West, which is began in California, and it's a national women's art association. I think they have over 200 members now.
Oh,
but
wow.
when I was in it, began in it in about 1990, I think. I was in it for 10 years and became a signature member, and I showed my work at the Ronald Reagan Library, San Juan Capistrano, Las Vegas, Nevada, Chicago, and just all over, and you ship your work, and it was juried in and judged by slides then, the old-fashioned way. And so I had to buy some good cameras and take pictures of my art, get slides made, send that in with your entry fee, and many times I was turned down on, several times, and but that was real fun. So.
Yeah, so you had to not only be an artist, especially when they did slides and things like that, you had to become a photographer too.
You do.
Because if you don't have a good picture of your art, then who knows if you're going to make it or not. Yeah.
They would turn you down, and they would even take paintings off the wall after they accepted them if they weren't framed correctly when you got to a show. And your corners of your watercolor better have no overcuts on them. And they were really tough.
Wow.
So I learned a lot there, though, and then I began to teach art, and began in the Cottage. Joe Ashbeck used to own the Cottage over on Wall Street, and a long time ago. And she said, "You're going to be my art teacher," and I was very green. And I said, "What am I going to teach?" She said, "Watercolor, and I'm going to teach oil." And I said, "Oh, okay." So we advertised. I got, I think, 5 or 6 students, and I said, a vase of old dried squiggly flowers. I said, "Paint that," and I had no clue how to tell them what to do. Nothing. And nobody came back the next week. I don't blame them. So I decided I had to learn how to teach from a teacher. So I went to Ruidoso at the Carrizo Art School for 2 weeks and took oil and watercolor from Ben Conis out of Amarillo, Texas. And I picked up on pointers, how he taught and how you approach a student and so on. So that gave me the courage to try again, and so from there I went ahead and taught, and
people came back to your class.
Well, I don't think the same ones, but then I rented a studio down here in town for a while, and then the opportunity to teach at the San Juan College opened up, and so I taught as an adjunct over at their night class in Aztec, their satellite classrooms over there. For 10 years I was over there. And
wow.
Taught oils.
Oils.
Yeah, so we had a good time.
Wow. I mean, it sounds like, too, you're very accomplished. You've been able to overcome, not knowing how to teach, you've overcome that. And then you taught for 10 years over there, which That's
And
absolutely
I'm
amazing.
just a high school graduate, and everything that I have learned, I've had to dig for it.
You've had to earn it and definitely practice to and learn how to do it.
And took many workshops too. Some wonderful, wonderful workshops. We used to have lots of good workshops coming through here. Ben Conus and Bob Tommy and Carl Purcell and Lee K. Parkinson, a lot of good artists, and I took all of those workshops. So you just keep learning step by step, a little bit here and a little bit there, learn how to frame and learn. I do all my own framing just about, unless I come here and they put the pretty back on it, get the pretty frames. And so, yeah, I recommend this place for everybody to come, because look at the frames. You've got beautiful frames and lots of
Thank you.
good stuff here for artists.
Well, thank you. I mean, you've learned so much too I would probably be the same way too, though. If you've learned to do this and you've done it for so long, I would totally agree there. And I think that it's so great that you had to learn those things, even though some of them got taken off the wall. I believe you learned in the right way. You had you did it right.
Just go after it.
Yeah, exactly. You
Don't
did
let
it right.
be
You
like a
looked
little-
at the magazines, and I don't see that anymore. I don't know if they still have art shows and things in the magazines and everything. Everything is online and things like that now. But I think that's amazing that you kind of found that and decided, hey, I'm going to just stick my neck out there and I'm going to do it. I think that's too.
And then
also
artists are kind of a clanny bunch, and you get to know this one, and then here comes another one, and you welcome them. It's just a wonderful group of people. And I belong to the plein air painters of the Four Corners, and that's one plein air that I did out with them up at La Boca Ranch in Colorado. And so we do. I can't get around very well anymore, so I don't go too far, but if it's close, I get to go out and paint and with them. And they're a great group. Four Corners, that's Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona. And we've got about 40-some members, and that's a real neat organization. We have other people wanting to come in now, and they're juried in to the group by showing us. They have to come and paint with us several times and then show 2 or 3 of their works, and then we vote on them to come in as a member, and you can strive for your signature membership in that if you want to. So anyway,
that's great to have. I mean, people need to know that there are places to get together and paint, and there are classes to take to learn more about them, and and to critique. I know Bill Hatch, he also critiques paintings as well. So and he's taught at the college and everything. So it's wonderful to know that there are places to really go. You don't have to stay at home, be secluded. You can call and talk to different places and get in a class or join a group. If you can submit your pieces, you can join a group and things like that. Or if you know other artists around and just have a occasional meet and greet, I think that would be perfect. And they can also critique your work. I know a lot of people that kind of get together
we all ask each other,
right?
Where am I wrong on this? It's good.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely wonderful. Well, Juana, can you tell me about a few pieces that you have here today?
Well, this top one, the big one, I was looking at a hunting magazine, and the background, of course, they had the hunter in the front and the gun and the dog or whatever, and I liked the trees way over on the far slope, and they were kind of hazy, so that the rest of it's kind of my own mess that I did.
That's beautiful. It really gives it some depth too.
Yeah, I call that elk country.
Elk country.
Yeah. Each painting should have a name when you enter a show. And that's another thing that you got to scratch your head over. What am I going to call this stuff, So this one is from a photograph in Calgary, Canada. My husband is the guy on the white horse, and he used to rope calves, bulldog, in team rope.
Oh,
So
wow.
he was talking to a group of those guys, and I took their photograph. I worked a lot from photographs, and so I worked from a photograph on that one. It's an oil. And this is my husband. I used him as my painting, rather. And this guy, I don't know. But anyway, I put two of them photographs together, and this cow, I liked his spot, so, and his way he was wiggling, so I
Yeah, I
used
love
him.
his colored sleeve right there. That's
Yeah,
adorable.
Yeah. I said, when I want to do, say, a watercolor or an oil many times, I have several size sketch pads, and I'll do a sketch, and then when I kind of think that's all right, I'll lay tracing paper down over that, and then I trace off my drawing and correct whatever I want to correct. And I might want to move a horse over here or a tree over there or something, you know. So I do that with my tracing paper, and when I get that drawing done on my tracing paper, then I have graphite paper, which I lay on my watercolor paper or my canvas, and then I take a red pencil so I don't get mixed up on the black lines. I don't want to, I want a red pencil, see where I've been, and make sure I get, so I transfer that then onto that.
Oh, okay.
So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, she's got a technique, and that's a great way to do it too.
Yeah.
Instead of sometimes if you have to resketch it, it could not be like your other sketch.
Yeah.
So
Now sometimes I just start in with a brush and paint and just begin, you know, just kind of be. As you can see, I do paint in detail,
yes,
realism.
you do. Yes, she does.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness,
yeah.
yes.
And but I really like all styles of art. I love Juicy Fran Mayfield, she's married again.
Oh goodness.
Sorry. Her name has slipped my mind. I love her style, and she's acrylic painter, and that's the only medium that I do not paint in is acrylic. I cannot get the hang of it. I've got a whole sack of acrylic paints, and
what do you feel is why? What do you feel why you can't do that? You know, why can't you do that?
well, they dry fast, and if you're not careful, you've got real hard edges, and and then your brushes, you got to be quite careful with them because that builds up in there, and then all the brushes stick out.
You
like
don't have
that.
the same brush when you started your painting, and now you have a different kind of brush.
Yeah, so it just doesn't feel good to me. I've taken workshops in acrylic, but I always go back. I think my favorite medium would be watercolor. One reason is that I like the brilliance of the colors with the white paper, you know, it makes it shine. And the other thing is, if you're going to do plein air, paint outside, it's a lot lighter to carry.
Oh yes.
Your materials.
Oh yes, I would totally imagine
Yeah,
having to trek out to even to this spot or anything like that. If you can't get your vehicle there, you have to trek out there with all of your equipment in order to do what you want to do.
Right.
Right. Wow. So are you currently working on something?
Not really. Nothing major. I keep thinking things in my head, but I kind of got lazy.
Oh.
So, but I meet every Thursday at Artifacts. They have open studio there. And before the virus hit us, we had a nice group coming. And it's on Thursday for 2 hours from 1 to 3. And after the virus, they said we could only have 5, and whoever emails back or texts back first gets the slot. So
there you go.
I got in.
You watch and you wait.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect. Good.
So 1 week we have a live model.
Ooh.
And the second week we have a still life.
Wow.
And you can do acrylic, oils, watercolor, pencil sketching, colored pencils, pastel, anything you want.
You can do whatever. That's amazing.
And so that's been a really a good thing. And I was sold 7 or 8 of those, I think, because they're small and I don't get a lot of money for them, and so that works out
Wow.
good.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a good time as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything, any one particular painting, whether it was watercolor, oil, anything, or even a sketch, that has always stuck on your mind that's always been your favorite?
One of my favorites sold. I advertised in a slick, nice art magazine because you had to be in the Women Artist of the West. That was a requirement. You had to 2 or 3 times a year you had to advertise. And that thing sold. A man in Tucson called me and I said, okay, you send me a check and I'll mail you the painting. He said, all right, sold. So that's what happened. That was my favorite.
And what was the subject?
Shiprock.
Shiprock?
But it was out behind the hospital, up on, as you're going down to Bisti,
Oh,
through the Bisti, but up on top there, that spring, they had a lot of rain. Beautiful. I think I counted maybe 14 to 15 different flowers, colors, and beautiful. And then way off in the distance, you can see Shiprock. And it was early in the morning. We were going south. I said, no, I did not have my camera. All of this had to come.
Oh, wow.
Remember, and I kept thinking, I got to remember. The sun was shining on Shiprock way off over there. The clouds were casting like lavender shadows, on that desert out in there. So I painted that, but I put a Native American a man and a woman on their horse. They're standing on top of the hill and looking down across that valley toward Shiprock. It was one of my favorites.
And she did this all from memory.
Well,
that is awesome, because you didn't have a camera, so.
I do a lot of things just out of my imagination. I have a sharp mind.
We love imaginative things. Our imaginations are what makes us, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And then, too, it makes you be able to create all these things, especially, too, I mean, you imagined part of the scene, you picked something out from a magazine that you absolutely loved, and then you made it your own, which, I mean, that takes a lot of...
This painting is a watercolor, it's a print, and this is my son's friend over here in the back, and they were in Alaska, and they were going out hunting, I don't know what, and he sent my son on his cell phone a picture, and he sends it to me and says, Mom, can you paint this? I thought, wow. So that's what I painted.
Aww.
And I just sat down in front of the TV one night with my sketch pad, and I began to, use my whatever, and I got the sketch pretty good. I didn't get the rump on this horse too good, so I had to work on that, but that's how it turned out.
Well, it's
And
beautiful.
he gave it the original to his friend for his birthday, and then I had prints made before I let loose of the original.
Oh, how sweet.
So.
Well, I mean, it's so detailed, even in the blizzard and the snow. I mean, I don't know if y'all can really get a good look on that, but just the mountains in the background and everything, it's so detailed. And I just think that's amazing that you capture all that detail in there, because it really makes it real.
I found
love
out that there is a white acrylic ink, and so the snow is white acrylic ink.
Oh, wow.
Put on with a little tiny fine wire and a toothpick. Every dot was
goodness.
hand dotted.
Wow. Well, see, you do work in a little bit of acrylic. So we
little.
Can say that.
Oh, yeah. Acrylic is good to tone your canvas. Mm-hmm. That's real good. And to use the white.
Yeah. So, see, there you go.
Covers up
you have
a
some of that
multitude of
acrylic.
sin.
Oh!
So,
Oh, I love that.
yeah, so.
Oh, well, we can't see any sin in there, so it's okay. It's been washed away. Well, I love your pieces, and can you tell the audience about how they can get in touch with you?
Yes, they could email me. It's wandacoffee2@yahoo.com, the number 2, and all lowercase Wanda Coffee, and they can contact me that way.
Alrighty, well, before our live and, not in front of everyone, of course, we learned some secrets about Miss Wanda. She is a musician, and her family is a musician. I believe, anyways, that's what I say. So, Wanda, can you tell us a little bit about kind of your, the things that you like to do on your free time?
On my free time?
On your free time with your family.
Well, when they come to visit, we usually have nice big meals to start with, and then we play music in the evening. My son he's an excellent guitarist, and he likes to write songs, and my one daughter plays a mandolin and the other plays guitar, and I play guitar, and so we do that for entertainment, and
I think that's
that's
amazing.
fun. Yeah, my husband used to play the violin, the fiddle we called it, and guitar and mandolin. So he's the one who started all this stuff.
That's just amazing. A whole family of everything.
Yeah.
So, well, she has decided that she has brought a poem in, and we are going to kind of end on a poem.
This is a poem that I wrote about struggling to become an artist and to go to art shows. I didn't know when I first picked up a paintbrush that I'd be involved with trying for a prize, but an art show seemed to beckon me to enter. I'll go for the gold, is what I cried. Now it was late and my neck was in a tight knot. I had paint smeared right up under my nose. Coffee cups and crumbs were lying all around me, and the deadline before my eyes arose. Oh, are the values right? Are the colors crisp and clean? Should the sky have more ochre or maybe pink? Are the edges all too hard? The shadows all wrong? Oh, my brain was so tired I could not think. As the clock ticked away, nearing midnight, I was struggling with perspective on a barn. Oh, just why did I think I could be an artist? Lock me up before I do myself some harm. But here I am to show the world my talent. Don't laugh at my art. I've done my best. Oops, the judge just walked by and shook his head. He walked right on by. I'll see you later, 'cause I'm due for a long, long rest.
Oh, I love that. It's so cute. Well, we are so happy that you came in and told us all about yourself and your family. And we just want to let everybody know that our store hours are 9 to 5:30, Monday through Friday, and 9 to 4, on Saturday. Now we just changed our hours for the holiday. So feel free to come in then. We also have our website, www.wallartgallery.net. And you feel free to just give us a call or come by and let us know if you have any questions. And thank you so much, Wanda, for coming in.
Thank you.
Again, go to Wanda's email. Email Wanda if you have any questions or want to buy anything from her. Or feel free, if you can't get a hold of her, just give us a call and we'll just give her a call and get all of that information taken care of for you. Thank you so much for watching, and you have a wonderful day.